This is the More to Life Than Money podcast. Real people, real stories, real conversations about wealth and abundance with your host, J.W. Rayhans.
What motivated you to start the More to Life Than Money podcast?
Yeah, the motivation, actually the inspiration for the More to Life Than Money podcast really came from the fact of having these incredible conversations with people throughout the years.
It's really about relationships. And so another reason I agreed to sit at this table and do this podcast is you're very intentional about relationships. And I think that's incredibly important.
Those were the stories, like when you have those real raw sort of conversations, those are where all the nuggets are for what's allowed someone to experience the success that they've had, or even the challenges that they've faced, the obstacles that they've overcome. But that's what inspires people, because then we start to see ourselves in some of those stories. We start to feel a connection or a common ground to that person.
If you can help all those around you grow and do great things for themselves, it's amazing what'll happen to yourself.
And then whether we realize it or not, it's inspiring us, it's motivating us, it's moving us towards the things that we want to see happen in our lives. Or if anything, it's building belief that it could be possible, because like, wait, that's a real person too. I maybe saw them a certain way because they had a certain amount of money, or they had certain things, or they had the career, or they had the life, or they had the family, or whatever it was. But all of a sudden, if I can see myself in that person, now it becomes believable that I can achieve some of the same things that they've achieved. So we just want to get those stories out. We just want to share them with the world. Okay.
So I had all of the above. I was there first. It was a burning building, unfortunately, but it was pretty good B-roll that, would sell on TV. And I remember sitting in the car writing what I was going to say, and that's all I cared about. And I thought, wow, I had this epiphany, like, what is my purpose in life?
Wow.
People are dying in that building, and here I was just caring about telling the story. So that was kind of an epiphany at that moment.
And some of the more quote unquote successful people, they're some of the more miserable people I know. And I would argue it's not because of what they've accomplished or what they've been able to reap the rewards of financially, the big house, the big cars, but they've lost their purpose, or they've lost the focus of what motivates them. They've lost their driver. Yeah. So I would say the pursuit of money is not necessarily the pursuit of happiness.
Of course, I've been on the receiving end of not so positive intent.
Yeah.
But I think, you can only control what you can control. Mm-hmm. And I think just you can control your attitude. Yeah. You can control your work ethic. You can control being on time, giving it 100%. You can control giving back. When stuff happens to you, you just only can control how you handle it.
I had made that commitment to them, and seeing some of their lives change in that short amount of time, there was no way that I was going to turn my back when we had made that commitment to each other.
And I think that sometimes people give you these gifts that some people will turn around and say, oh, that's just extra work. And I viewed it as what a gift. That she gave me the opportunity to do something like that expanded my skill base, expanded my network of people, expanded my mind in terms of what I was capable of doing.
How did the experience of season 1 compare to your expectations?
Yeah, this is actually such a fun question to ask, because I've never hosted a podcast before. So I really didn't have any expectations going into it. And that's what's kind of fun about it, is you're just going after something. And because I've never done it, you just got to learn along the way. You just got to, figure out, how can we make this as impactful as possible? And so to think about expectations for season 1 it's actually a little bit tough, because I don't think I had many expectations. But what I will share is, with each episode, then it was almost like, this could really turn into something. This could become something great. And then that's when like the expectations started going up. And, we just always want to strive for excellence. We want to strive for great craftsmanship. And
I think the only thing you get to leave is your reputation and an impact on the people. And so if you can do that and do it for the right reasons, I don't think there's anything more important.
The hope is that as we continue to do this more than more, is there's a bit of craftsmanship that people, whether they actually see the title of the podcast or not, they might catch a clip or a reel or something short, and immediately they'll be able to go, oh my goodness, that's probably the More to Life Than Money podcast, because there's like these little character traits about it that give it its certain uniqueness.
You've got to have grit. You've got to have determination. You've got to have belief in yourself.
Yeah.
And you got to have integrity, because you live in a very small world of people that trust each other's words. And if you're not that guy, you'll be gone in just a heartbeat.
I always tell them your job is to just be nice. It doesn't matter if it's a multimillionaire patient or if it's a homeless patient. We're just going to kill them with kindness and be super nice and be super professional. And same thing if it's hospital personnel or another fire crew or another city that we're having a problem with. All you guys have to do is be nice. And if there is a time where we need to turn a corner, I'll turn the corner.
What moment did you realize the impact this podcast could make?
It's kind of special to think about, actually, because I don't know that I ever thought about what the responses would be. I always just thought about the guests. I always just thought about the person that was sharing their story and the fact that it would probably have an impact for someone, for a lot of people. I don't know that I ever thought about what the responses would be or what we would hear, or when we'd get a little insight to someone just mentioning, oh, I saw this episode, or I saw that episode, or this really stuck with me.
Your circle of influence, you only need to be meeting with regularly a smallish circle to have an impact on a larger circle. And so just be intentional about the fact that you want to pour into people. And I've needed to recognize, I need to say yes more often than perhaps I have time to. I need to stretch myself to make those coffees happen.
At the moment, whether it was a DM or whether it was somebody reaching out to me personally and mentioning the podcast, but mentioning a specific guest, when it hit me of, this actually is having a real impact. Not just an impact where someone's listening to it during their workout or in their car and they're like, oh, that was good. The type of impact where it was more, no, they're taking action with it. They're like absorbing it and going, what am I going to do with it? How am I going to change something in my life because of something they heard? That's been incredible.
And she just said, always picture yourself with one hand in front to grab onto what those in front of you know, and then one hand behind you to help the next one along.
There you go.
And man, that has stuck with me my whole life.
Wealth and abundance is a perspective of things that we get to enjoy in this life that are beyond our basic needs, most fully realized when we recognize those are out of the mercy and grace of God.
If you could sum up season 1 in one word, what would that word be?
Authentic. Yeah. It's just been authentic. It's been fun to be in conversations with people where they're just themselves. And we almost forget the microphones are there. We forget the cameras are there, and we're just chatting. I'd say authentic.
Getting to know your employees and caring about them on a personal level. I think that's so important. And when they feel it and they know that that's genuine and that's authentic, they will work very, very hard to meet the goals and objectives.
Happiness, gratitude, a sense of there's enoughness. That was a concept we always used to tell each other, we don't have everything, but we have enough.
Yeah.
There's enoughness here.
Yeah.
But, you have a strong family, you have a support system, you have people you enjoy spending time with, work that you enjoy doing, that is fulfilling to you, that helps other people. So you end up feeling good at the end of the day. You can sleep well at night.
That's right.
And those things. So when I think of wealth and abundance, it's less about, physical money or physical things. It's more about people, relationships, the difference you're able to make in the community as a result of the work that you do, and things of that nature.
The abundance is having joy in your heart and being able to live that each day. And again, it's not going to be perfect. You're going to have bad days. You're going to have bad times.
Yeah. The trials will be there.
You'll
have trials.
Will be there.
Yeah.
But just know that there's joy in tomorrow. Don't give up.
What wealth is emotionally is you having a great relationship with your wife and your kids and the community. Like we talked about those goals. How do you want to be remembered? You want to be remembered for being generous and for helping people and being a good father and a good husband, right? And those are the 4 things I want to be remembered for. Everything else is sprinkles. It's just extra.
I go, what are you doing here? He goes, Jason, I've never missed you play a game. I'm not going to miss you coach your first one. Wow. And honest to goodness, behind the birth of my daughter and my marriage date, that's the 3rd most important day of my life. Because I'm going, since I was 7 years old, I always had someone that had my back. I always had someone that was in my corner. I always had this. And that formed this belief. That's not what you can do for people. I'm not a believer of that. It's how can you make somebody feel? And he always made me feel safe. Almost getting emotional. Yeah. He always made me feel safe. Always made me feel empowered. And I've been able to take that lesson with me to hopefully in life.
Just something that, gives to other people, that which would enhance my abundance and my wealth.
Yeah.
Beyond the money.
I want them to know none of this stuff really belongs to us. The Lord is allowing us to be a steward of it. So I don't ever want to own something that I can't freely share with someone else. Yeah. Because he's trusting us to be good stewards of this. And when we're done living in this house, someone else is going to live here. This is all just temporary.
Communication and trust is the number one thing you got to have to build on. And then from there, you got to surround yourself, with the right people.
Were there any challenges in season 1?
Derek, were there any challenges in season 1? Yeah. That's super special. You're not allowed to make me cry during the podcast. Okay. We should have established this rule ahead of time because, hey, guess what?
I know what you're going to say, but what?
I love you.
I knew it. I love you too.
Ultimately, I looked at the team and I could not, I still get emotional when I think about it. I couldn't walk away from them.
I feel like I got a second chance now. And so I am there for that now. And I am with people now and soak up the moments as best I can and stop focusing on our future only Mr. Financial Advisor and trying to be present now and balance. And so I just want you girls to know that you got this. God's always got this, no matter what you're going through. And Daddy's here.
I think one of my big insecurities, I didn't think I was loved. And, from my childhood, and I didn't have a lot of love back in my childhood, right? Yeah. So I had to work through like childhood regression and work through issues of me, not feeling I was enough.
Most people live in a why world. We question ourselves. So myself included. Right. I teach on this, but I have my own insecurities. I have my own confidence problems.
We all do.
We all do. So I just want to make sure everybody knows that we're all dealing with the same challenges.
You got it.
But most people live in a why world. So realize that when you're meeting a person, they're questioning too. Oh, why would JW? He's had so much success. Why would he be chatting with me? If you're looking to date somebody, oh, why would they date me? There's more attractive people out there. So we get ourselves in a why world. I didn't want that to be a core tenet of Marissa. I always wanted it to be a why not. It's Marissa. Somebody has to have a great day today at kindergarten. Why not you?
Yeah.
Somebody has to do well on this math test. Why not you? And it's not why not with a question mark. It's why not with an exclamation point. Because once you to believe it, it's no longer a limiting belief.
Yeah.
So go from limited to limitless. So true story is many years ago, she's at a dance competition in California.
Okay.
We're there and she wins this big trophy. She's a national champion. She comes running over to me, gives me this huge hug. And I go, Marissa, what were you thinking? She goes, Daddy, I looked to my left. I looked to my right. Said, somebody has to win this. Why not me? I almost lose it.
I bet you did.
I put my hands together and I go, if she can hold on to one thing the rest of her life, it is this limitless mindset of why not you?
It was difficult. And, but I think at the end of the day, hard work, very intention. Those are a lot of words that I use a lot, as you know.
Yeah.
But that's the only way you get out of that and come out the other end. And you have a decision to make how you want to live your life.
That's right.
And you can live that life as a victim the rest of your life, or you can become that survivor and thriver. and then where I am today, champion of those people.
That's right.
To help
you certainly
them
are.
get beyond that.
Oh, I'm in a slump. And I'm just like, you're right with that attitude. You absolutely are. And your brain, you're never going to hit the ball if you're like, oh, I'm in a slump. Like Eeyore, you know, you're already telling, your brain is shutting down your muscle memory at this time. When you step up to the plate, your brain's already given up because you already told it you were in a slump.
Yeah.
If you think you can, you will. If you think you're going to hit the ball, you will. It's like the little engine that could. You know, when the little engine is trying to hike up that mountain, pulling the whatever, the toys or whatever, and it's like, I think I can. And then she gets closer to the top and she's like, I know I can. And she makes it.
Yeah.
And I was trying to tell my son that story, and he was just like, oh. So it was like an aha moment for him, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, so you get up to the plate, and I'm going to hit. Yep, I'm going to hit. I'm going to hit. I'm going to hit. Smack. And then,
yeah, that's right.
There you go.
Yeah. And even there, you share the I thinks changed into I knows. And when you know you can do something, you'll find a way to do it. And so share the latest. He just had a tournament this weekend based on when we're recording this. And what did he hit?
He hit out 3. So he's super excited.
That's right. I had to get that in there somehow.
Yeah, he's super excited. But it's like, it's all in your mentality. Your brain is so powerful.
Yeah, it really is.
You know,
it really is.
God gives the talent. You have to give the effort.
There you go.
So we learn lessons, and you know, we all do things right. We all do things wrong. I don't like doing things wrong too many times. It gets old.
Learn from it, right?
And so we learn from it.
I feel, interestingly enough, this really is, what's cool about this is asking about the challenges is we have a team that makes this all happen. And I guess for me, that's kind of the neat part about it is even though, you know, myself or the guests that we have are the ones that get to be in front of the camera, there's a team that puts this all together. And each of them have shared, you know, what they've enjoyed about it or what's been challenging about it. I mean, let's face it, we work within financial services. We work within financial planning investments. There's compliance. There are things that we're allowed to say and things we're not allowed to say. And so, I mean, even one of the early challenges is we had our timelines as when we wanted this thing to launch. We had our timelines on, you know, how quickly we thought we'd be able to get things done. But there's more people involved in that. And it's fortunate because you take compliance, for example, and they're there to help protect us. They're there to help make sure that our message is getting out. And at the same time, it's within the guidelines that we have to follow. And so can compliance be a challenge sometimes? Yes, but it's also there to serve a purpose. And when we recognize that, we can work in partnership with them. So timelines are sometimes been a challenge. You know, when you launch something like a podcast, you know, you might even have the hope that, you know, a whole bunch of people are going to start listening and watching right off the bat. And it usually doesn't work that way. And so I think the mission has to be strong for you to overcome some of those challenges, whether it's the amount of people that are listening and watching or the amount of people that are engaging with it, or, you know, having a regular amount of guests or the time that it takes, not just in the interview, not just in the conversation, but the producing and the editing and the posting and the social media and the digital media and getting the visibility out. And so actually, I think that the challenges that we've faced have almost fueled us to just stay committed to it. So I don't know, I guess that's the way I'd sum it up. Yes, there's been challenges. And launching a podcast is not easy. It takes resources, it takes financial resources, it takes time resources, it takes preparation. With all of that, I would sum it up and say the challenges are worth it though, because they keep you committed.
That first filter is, do I enjoy doing it?
Okay.
And if I do, then now my current second filter is, what other demands are there out there? And are they moving our family towards where I want to move? And that can be financial, right?
Sure.
Can also be time-wise, or it can be, you know, there's a lot of little things where I'll say yes to if I see like just a giant opportunity.
I had been doing model homes for probably 20 years. And it was the first time that I felt that I was designing for someone. I was making a difference in someone's life. And from then on, I just kept pursuing it.
Like, what is the ultimate measure of my fulfillment? And it wasn't one metric, but it was, for me, it was 5 different areas. It was my health, my relationships, my self-development, the business and career I had, my charitable giving.
Okay.
Right. So I went through that for my actual life. So it wasn't a business for me, which was kind of different, but it was really powerful for me. And that's the first time I'm like, okay, I need to change something, because if things continue the way they are, I'm going to be really strong on the, financial side, but my relationships, they're going to be at the level they are. I think there's a lot of room for improvement. I think the most recent decision I made was I approached my business partner of 10 years in a business that I love doing. I love the work, and I had been pondering this for a while, and I had to tell myself, look, my kids are 9 and 12 at the time, and I'm doing the math. I'm doing the, like, how much time do I have left with my kids, presumably if they move out of the house or go to college out of state or something. How many more summers do I have with them? How much more can I travel with them? And I told him that I can't really control that runway. I had a whiteboard, and on one side I wrote, like, where would I be 5 years from now if I continued the path I'm on?
Yep.
And there were a lot of financial and security and equity and all kinds of benefits. And then where would but what would the downside be, given that I have these years with my kids, and especially with my upbringing, the story I shared with you.
Yeah.
Like, once I laid it out, the pros and cons, it was the regret of not being able to travel and spend time with my kids the way I wanted to. That benefit way outweighed, all the other benefits of the partnership I was in.
What did you ask me?
We were in the car. I said, Dad, why can't I be in the podcast?
You did. And I said, after I paused, because I thought, how do I answer this, especially as your dad, where I'd want to have you on the podcast. But what came out of my mouth was, well, I just don't think you're quite to the financial success level of our guests, right? And so then you said,
well, what do I need to get?
That's right. And so off the cuff, what came out of my mouth was, I said, I tell you what, if you can figure out how to save up $1,000, then you can be a guest on the podcast. And you got excited, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, you got super excited. In fact, just so all of you know, Montana figured out how to save up $1,000 at 12 years old, 11 at the time, in only about 6 months.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
It built a sense of risk in us. We were willing to take risks without being afraid of failure or afraid of not making it. There was one time where we almost all died from frostbite. Yeah. In a snowstorm, me and my sister and my brother.
In the office, we talk a lot about two really key values that I've started to really believe drive a lot of the decision making that I have, which are kindness and generosity. And we view a lot of things that we do or we don't do through the lens of that. Like, are we being generous with people? Are we operating from a mindset of abundance where there's enough for everybody and we have more than we need and we can share with people?
What message would you like to share with the audience as we wrap up season 1?
For any of you that have listened to one episode, a piece of an episode, or the entirety of all the episodes, my hope is that it's inspired you and energized you in such a way that you get to experience something in your life that at one point you may not have ever thought you could experience.
Coming from humble beginnings, I mean, maybe something's like, I ate macaroni and cheese once for a year straight.
Yeah.
So I had, at the beginning of my career, I had this vision. I was going to start a company, and man, it had such a great idea. I was going to blow it up. It just was going to be incredible. And after about 6 months, and I leveraged everything I owned in life and couldn't even afford anything. And at macaroni and cheese, I think they used to sell, like, I'm older. They sold it for like 10 for like 25 cents or something.
Yeah.
So that kept me going.
And maybe we didn't have as much as, in wealth, but we were so rich in the way we were brought up from our parents.
She would say, if you're blessed to bless others, then, it's good to share your blessings because they will come back tenfold. And I can't stress that enough. It's so true. Paying things forward, seeing your blessings be blessings for others.
What I learned from him was that there's no point in trying to chase things you can't take with you.
Mm-hmm.
But what you can leave behind is something far more significant. So hopefully I live my life, in a similar fashion to him.
In our society right now with families, we've got cell phones, we've got computers, we've got all sorts of gadgets that are just taking away from the chance for families just to talk.
Mm-hmm.
And so we did have a setting where when it was family time together, we were putting everything else away.
Yeah.
We were talking, enjoying each other's company. Lucinda would fix a wonderful meal, and it was time to talk and see. Often I know how, younger years, it wasn't ever a problem, but you get in the teenage years and, well, how was your day? And the one word answer, fine.
Yeah.
And then dad and mom would start the probing questions. Well, tell us more.
Mm-hmm.
And so parents need to do that because interaction and communication is so important.
At the core for me, wealth and abundance is very relational. So it's like the richness comes from the relationships with people. And so when I say adventure, it's not so much about where we're going, it's who's in the car with me,
who are we doing it with?
Who's on the boat with me, who's on the plane with me.
Yeah.
And our mom raised us largely by herself. So she's a single mother in a wheelchair. She broke her neck before we were born.
Wow.
In an inner tubing accident. And so for me, a phenomenal example of just resiliency of the human mind, and just the human spirit and condition, and taking what happened to you and not allowing that to maintain your identity, but recreating yourself. So she went back to school, has a couple degrees. She's won the U.S. Open wheelchair tennis a couple times. She's a counselor, written a book. I think she's trying to finish her second one right now. Nice. But just really a good example of an individual that took ownership of the situation that obviously happened to her and didn't allow that to identify her.
Mm-hmm. So I kind of come up with a phrase in my brain. It's adversity to victory.
Yeah.
So, in life, like something's going to happen that's a change or an adversity. And if you handle it with a positive heart and it's just a really good, like a servant's heart energy to get through it, then it turns into a victory.
I would also counsel any mother raising teenagers. It's important to have a dog in the home.
I just want them to know that no matter what happens in life, first of all, God's in control. Oh my gosh, He's got this for sure. And life can change very fast. So just make sure that you always are pursuing every moment you can, because it can change so fast.
And it was also a reminder, and this is a theme that I chose to live by long ago. It was a reminder to be good to people, no matter what's going on.
Yeah.
You have to be good to people. You may have your own struggles, you may have your own challenges, and I mean, I was very blessed and privileged and all that stuff, but everybody has their struggles and their challenges.
Certainly.
It was a reminder to be good to people, and I remind myself that every day.
Yeah. And we need those reminders.
What is your hope for season 2?
My hope for season 2 is momentum.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. My hope is that season 2 will build off the foundation of season 1 and will gain significant momentum. And I guess what I envision in terms of momentum is I envision, more listeners and more consistency to our listeners. I envision that there'll be additional referrals to new guests, people we've never met before. That I guess, for as cliche as it sounds like, the word gets out and it becomes more visible. And I think it goes back to the overall mission of our podcast, More to Life Than Money, is my hope for season 2 that people really get the idea, the thought, the vision behind there's more to life than money, of the foundation of the type of conversations that were done in season 1. And they, from a momentum standpoint, they want more of it. Show us more of the real stories that people have, the real person behind the image that we see them as.
It's not things that make us happy, it's people.
Yeah.
And so, you know, I think we've been blessed with a lot of great people, you being one, that has really made a difference in our life.
We can all have different personalities, but we got to have the same mindset of where we're trying to get.
For everybody, just remember, there's so much more to life than money.
Thank you.
You did great.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to the More to Life Than Money podcast with your host, J.W. Rayhans, financial advisor, jw@rayhansfinancial.com. Guests are not affiliated with or registered with Cetera Wealth Services, LLC. Any information provided by guests is in no way related to Cetera Wealth Services, LLC, or its registered representatives, unless otherwise noted as a representative of Cetera Wealth Services, LLC. The opinions contained in this material are those of the author and not a recommendation or solicitation to buy or sell investment products. This information is from sources believed to be reliable, but Cetera Wealth Services, LLC cannot guarantee or represent that it is accurate or complete. Securities offered through Cetera Wealth Services, LLC, doing insurance business in California as CFGAN Insurance Agency, LLC, California Insurance License Number 0644976, member FINRA/SIPC. Advisory services offered through Cetera Investment Advisors, LLC, a registered investment advisor. Cetera is under separate ownership from any other named entity. California Insurance License Number 0M15552. The views depicted in this material are for informational purposes only and are not necessarily those of Cetera Wealth Services, LLC. They should not be considered specific advice or recommendations for any individual. Neither Cetera Wealth Services, LLC, nor any of its representatives may give legal or tax advice. 313 North Gilbert Road, Suite 200, Gilbert, Arizona 85234.